So here's a little day in the life. We're about to go on our walk. I always put the transitional leash on right when they come out of the crate. And I think that has helped me avoid issues with them not wanting to put it on, because most dogs don't like have something on their nose. They definitely tolerate it, but sometimes they'll try and scratch it off if they think I'm not looking. So basically, if they come out of the crate, only way they're coming out of the crate is wearing the transitional leash, then it's not such a bad thing. It's actually kind of the path to doing fun stuff. And so that's what I recommend doing. Okay. So remember the leash holds that I showed you. You have one dog in each hand, and then if you go like this, you have two dogs in each hand. So I'll show you that again. You always want to have the leash, or have the dog end of the leash coming out of the pinky side of your hand. That way you're going to be able to maneuver the leash and make it longer or shorter much easier. So I do that with each hand, bring my hands together like that. So this way, if I move forward, I've got a dog on each side, and it's very easy to have them sit or lay down in Bruce's case. Another thing you can do, as you're seeing what I'm doing right now, the one-handed hold, I just put each one through like that, like, you know, I'm about to go and like pick up a teacup. So I find that this actually gives me a lot of strength. I'm just used to doing this from holding reins. And you can, you know, from one end of your hand, control one dog, the other end, control the other dog. So I find that easy. You can even do this behind your back if you don't want to, if you think that you might just let the dogs get out and ahead of you, or you just don't want to think about it. You can kind of brace your hand against the hip bone, or a lot of times I will just kind of hold my hand to the back like that because it's comfortable, and that way they're pivoting on this back point. So if I need to turn around or whatever, both dogs are attached to the same point. It's not like one will have to pivot around the other. So I'll show you how that works. Holding the leash when I'm letting them go potty, I hold the leash loosely and I just kind of follow them. So the leash remains loose. I don't want them to learn to pull through the head halter to get to where they want to go potty. So I just kind of follow them around for this so they're not feeling that tension. Good boy. So here's the first hold. Each dog has about a foot and a half of leash. And if we wanted to turn, one dog is the pivot point, the other one has to hustle around. So right now Murphy has to really hustle. And it's gonna be very hard to just like turn on a dime like this. However, if you wanted to have both dogs in one hand, go like this. So you have your three fingers, hold them like that, and then one hand can control one dog, the other hand controls, or one hand controls both dogs. And so you can see how I can pivot. So they both have the same distance to travel. There we go. Okay. I put them in their crates for breakfast, just partially to avoid fights when I have multiple dogs. That way it's just not an issue at all. And partially because then you know exactly how much each dog has eaten. Oh, come on. time to rest after you've gone on your walk for at least 20 minutes. Okay. So this is pretty typical. He needs to be convinced a little bit. Good. And then he goes in. He just always asks, he's like, do you really mean it? Do I really have to? And the answer is yes, you always have to. All right, so please excuse my messy setup here, but I wanted to show you how I put the e-collars on, and we'll have a little time on place while I'm working. You could also do this while you're eating breakfast, after, say, you walk the dogs, you get yourself ready for work, and then the dogs can be with you for a little while before you head out. So here's how you put on the e-collars. This is Bruce, he's red. Murphy is black with his labels. So you always have to turn on both the remote and the collar after you unplug it. So the way you do that is you just hold down this large button until it flashes on. And then these both have a red dot, and you just pair the red dots until that goes green. Okay, and in terms of putting it on the dog, and remember, even when I open the door, I want him to stay in until I tell him it's okay. Free. So, these little metal thingies help to part the fur for long-haired dogs. And I think they're also hypoallergenic. I would have to check on that. Come here. Are you in the frame? No. So you want his name to be facing up so that the flashlight part of it is down if he's ever out at night. That way you can put the flashlight on and it will, the light will go on the ground so you can see him rather than into his ear and his fur where you can't see it. So I always put it on the side of their neck, and I kind of will part the fur like that just by kind of jiggling it around. Pull that tight, close the stopper, and attach the safety of the transitional leash to his regular collar. So he can go right here. And remember, how the dog comes out of the crate is going to say a lot about how your walk is going to be. So make sure to maintain him being able to wait free and come out of the crate nice and calm. And a good boy.
Okay, so you see how I have this looped like this? That's just if I want to have the extra length of the 6-foot leash in addition to the 15-foot leash. So the little snap here is not quite big enough to go all the way around this rope. So I just tie it like that and attach it to itself for extra security. But you could also just attach the long line to their collar and have them drag it just for extra safety on hikes and anytime you want to have them off leash. I always just like having duplicate safety systems, particularly when they're not my dogs. So until we get to the water, I'm just walking them like normal on the trail, and they're doing quite well. All right, finally got these golden swimming. Bruce is a little scared because that's a deep part right there. Bruce wants that stick that I threw, but he's too afraid to get it. Murphy's thinking about it. Good boy, Bruce. He's got it. He's swimming. Good boy. Yeah, shake, shake, shake. Okay, and for baths, I would recommend having a couple things on hand. Peanut butter, brushes, shampoo, and detangling spray. This will help keep your dog from smelling like a wet dog at the end. Okay, so the key to this is just not giving that many choices, making it very clear where your dog's supposed to be, what they're supposed to be doing. So I'm just gonna spread this all along here because I'd like his head to be there. And I'm going to have his slip lead up high and tight by his ears. Just like this, get in there. Oh, good boy. Good boy. Okay. All the way in. Okay. So I'm literally going to hold it like right by his head, so his head cannot really go that many places.
In all other walks, make sure you enforce the dog sitting at the door. Oh, he's thinking about it, thinking bad thoughts. Let's go. So Byron is demonstrating some excellent walking technique. If you look closely at his hand, you see that it's short, but it's loose. So Bruce is able to find the spot where he's the most comfortable, right next to his leg. He's not pulling ahead or lagging behind. Murphy's pulling ahead a little bit because he wants to catch up to Bruce. But he's not being too bad, you know. It's not like I'm having to correct him all the time. All right, so say there's someone on the street, you want to say hi. I don't typically allow dogs to meet on leash. Sit. So I just did leash pressure up into the sit. What a lovely young dog you have.
Yes, he is a good boy who also has the same name as my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And it weirds me out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, say Bruce. It's like, what?
What? I'm not your dad.
Yeah, that's weird, man.
That's weird, man. So, yeah, you know, they're able to just sit here and chill out, and you can have a conversation with their neighbor or whatever. But I would just have them with you rather than going up and meeting other dogs, because it can get confusing for them if they don't know, okay, is it okay to meet dogs sometimes? Can I go crazy sometimes on the leash? Just better to have calm on the leash all the time. It's a lot more clear to them. So it's a good idea to get your dog to wait with you at thresholds. And thresholds don't have to be just a door. It's like any natural stopping point, like across the street, going downstairs, just to make sure that they're with you and they're actually paying attention. So Byron has not worked with the dogs too much. I'm definitely the one that takes care of them the most. And we just wanted to test the drop it.
Drop it.
Yay! Enough. Place. Sit. Okay. So couple options. You can have your dog stay on place when you want to go to the door. Nah, sit. Good boy.
Again?
Why, hello. What a cute dog you have. What a good boy's inside. Yeah, one more time. And like, Murphy, come here. So your other option, say you keep your leashes by the door, just leash up your dog real quick, and if you don't have a giant mess, you have your dog sit. Come here. Murphy, sit. Hello.
Hello.
Wow, thanks for bringing me this dog.
I'm selling you hot dogs.
Hot dogs. So he's having some trouble. But you just pull up on the leash to have him sit. And he's staying there on a loose leash right now. Bruce doesn't care. Good boys.